Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know the score. I review many photographic, audio, video related products. And if you're new here, well, that's what I do. I review all sorts of video and audio related products. Today, we're looking at a new lens that I recently purchased. In fact, very recently purchased. I've only had, well, less than a week. So this is really just my initial thoughts on what I think of this lens. Many reviewers have done reviews on this lens and they've all, pretty much like it. And what it is the Tamron 20mm FE mount. So a Sony 20mm lens, and it's a F2.8 DI3 OSD Mark 1 M1.2 M1.2, not sure what that means, but effectively it's extreme wide angle lens for the Sony full frame bodies. So it is actually in 35mm terms 20mm, and I really like this lens because it isn't fisheye, so you're not getting that extreme distortion, but it's extreme wide. So for me, that works really well, mainly because I've got the 28-75 Tamron lens. This is a 2.8 lens, 2.8 throughout the whole range. So from 28 to 75, it's full 2.8, and it's a really nice lens, and it's actually very compact. And that's probably because it's starting at 28mm, not through to 24. So I got the 28 to 75. I've done an initial review on this lens, which will be in the description below, but it also there'll be a link to it somewhere. I think it's up in this corner where YouTube put the suggested video. So there'll be a link to that video. Also, I'll have a link to my Amazon affiliate page where you can buy either the 28 to 75 or the 20mm, the Tamron 20mm, which is what we're looking at now. So that's the 28 to 75, and I wanted a lens to complement that, but I wanted something wider than 28mm. I also wanted one with quite a wide aperture. I didn't want to go down to like F1.8. I don't think they exist anyway. And I would have liked the Sony 12 to 24, but it was like 1,300 quid, and I weren't going to pay that. So I got this one. I got this one off eBay for 300 quid, and it's a really nice lens. It's very, very light. It's very compact. Comes with a lens hood. I'm not quite sure how effective that lens hood would be, but it's nicely made and it clicks on. It's a nice, good, firm click. And it's such a nicely made lens. Lovely focus ring. Now, I don't use manual focus, so I'm not going to explain whether I think the manual focus is good or bad. My eyes are too bad to want to bother with manual focusing. That's why I love the Sonys, because the autofocus just works and it's great. And I bought this lens to use with my Sony A7 III. It's the only full frame body I've got of Sony's. I've got loads of others. I've got 3 A6100s, a 6600, the 5100, and so on and so forth. But this is the A7 III, so let's stick this lens on. The lens is also weather sealed. Now, it's got the rubber gasket for weather sealing. I don't think I would want to rely on it in heavy rain. I don't think I'd want to use the camera in heavy rain anyway, but there is weather sealing in it, and it makes it a nice firm fit on the lens, on the camera body, on the camera body. So there we go. That's it fitted to the A7 III. Nice and compact, very light. In fact, the weight of it is actually very light. It is only 220 grams, so it's a nice lightweight lens. And I say, and Tamron have made a really nice quality lens there. The image quality that comes off this lens is great. I've got no complaints with that at all. I haven't taken a huge number of images, but I've taken a few which we'll go through here. It's got, as you say, the distortion. And I'm not looking at this from a technical point of view. None of my reviews are technical. I don't go into charts and, how sharp it is and the edges and all this. I just go by what I see. So you need to look elsewhere. If you're looking for a technical review of this lens, you won't find it here. This is more of my overall impression as a photographer, what I think of, any lenses. But, nice colour rendition, nice sharpness. The sharpness is in the centre is as good as you'll get from any lens, even the really expensive Sony G Master lenses. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely outstanding. And you know, nice and sharp around the edges. Now, the sharpness around the edges will depend on what aperture you're using, obviously. If you're using wide f2.8, it isn't going to be sharp around the edges because it's not, you know, it wouldn't have designed to be so. But great colours, you know, and with its wide, you know, great for landscapes, great for architecture, for buildings. If you're into doing, you know, photographing properties, real estate and what have you, great for all that sort of thing. And as you can see, you do see it does go a bit softer to the edges. But then I would have shot that at a wide aperture. I don't know what I did use. Yeah, f2.8. I've shot that at f2.8. So not surprising that it's soft around the edges. Look at that. And its out of focus rendition is nice as well. Most people would call it bokeh. But it's got that, it's really quite nice. It's not rough. It's a nice sort of soft out of focus area. Would you call it soft? I don't know. But it's a nice rendition. Really nice sharp images. Yeah, and of course, because it goes down to f2.8, great for low light use. So, you know, it covers, you know, quite a bit, and it's great value for money. I mean, you know, 300 quid. I got that. Well, new. The guy hadn't used it apparently, and they said it came in the box. The box doesn't even look like it had ever been opened, but you know, yeah, I've got no criticisms of this lens whatsoever. The lovely thing with the also chromatic aberration, it handles that excellent. In fact, I've photographed trees into the sky, and you know, I just can't see the aberration. Now, it may well be that I've got lens corrections turned on in the camera. I know you can do that with a Sony, so it will correct any errors like barrel distortion, vignetting and that kind of thing. So it might well be that's turned on, hence the reason why I'm not seeing it here in Lightroom. I may even have a profiles turned on in Lightroom, but you know, whatever, the results, you know, speak for themselves. It's very, very nice. Yeah, completely happy with that. You can see there, you know, no colour fringing, beautiful sharpness, you know, even in the corners. Yeah, you could do professional work with this lens, no problem at all. But the great thing with the, you know, the Sony E mount system, I know what I'm about to say is the same for Nikon and Canon, but I find it easier on the Sony system. For example, let me get my little 5100. This is the baby of a family, this little Sony A5100, nice little compact little camera. I've recently done a review on the 5100, but the great thing with these, I can use all my lenses on both cameras. So, you know, a full frame lens will quite happily and quite nicely not just fit on the 5100, but will work on the 5100. But you just have to take into account the crop factor. So instead of being a 20mm on, let me just put the lens on there so I don't get any dust in there. Likewise, I'm putting a crop sensor lens on a full frame body. He says, yeah, I have. Now, you know, that lens fits on there beautifully, but instead of it being 20mm, it's now a 30mm. Because you've got to take into account the 1.5mm, the 1.5 times crop factor. So that 20mm on this body is a 30mm, and actually that's a great weight. Do you know what? That's a really nice combination. And being 30mm, that's a good street photography sort of range. That's a good, you know, take anywhere sort of range, and that'll work absolutely fine. The autofocus works fine. Face detect, I don't know if his camera's got eye detect, but face detect, everything about it works great on a crop sensor body. So yeah, highly recommend this lens if you're on a tight budget, and even if you're not on a tight budget but you just want a wide angle lens and don't want to, you know, pay the earth for it. So there we go. Yeah, that's the Tamron 20mm. I said earlier there will be samples these samples that I've shown you here, and probably more. I will be updating it regularly on my Flickr page, and you can see all the camera settings on the right hand side on the Flickr page, what the settings were, so you can clearly see what the EXIF information was of that image. So that's why I use Flickr, because it's great. So there we go. Hope you found that useful. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and hit the like button if you find the content of this video useful. That really helps me grow the channel, and I really appreciate that. So thanks very much indeed, and stay tuned for more videos relating to video and photography. Thanks very much. Cheers. Bye.